In Jeremiah chapter 35, if you read from verse 5 to verse 8, they said, our father told us, our father put a law. He said, I said before the sons of the house of the but ye wine. Look at verse 6. Verse 6. But they said, we will drink no wine, for Jonadab, the son of the Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, you shall drink no wine, neither you nor your sons forever. That is good. But look at the next thing he told them. Neither build shall you build house, nor sow seed, nor plant vineyards, nor have any. All the days of all your days you shall dwell in tents. This was a law. So these people can buy land. They are wondering, as they buy land, there will be a contest. Somebody will take the land from them. As they buy a property, they will land up in court. Because there's a law that nobody should build a house. He said they're permitted to live in tents. Because there was a law, there was an existing instant law that says that nobody can go beyond this level. There are many the sound of my voice. That law, there's a law that has been raised up in the family that denies people access. The Bible says in Acts chapter 3 from verse 2, he said there was a man carried to the gate of Beautiful. They dropped him at the gate. In other words, stay at the gate, you have no access to enter. When you are at the gate, you manage peanuts. When you are at the gate, you only depend on what you are given. You scavenge for crumbs. And this man, they say, stay here. You have no access to enter. You are free to remain here, but you have no access because there's a law. Esther said, I want to go in. There are things I can't. You see him as my husband. I know. We dress. We can wear the same clothes in an event, but there are some things inside you don't know. I need to make you understand. Life is not as easy as you think. I don't know if you know, sometimes when people ask you for things, you wonder how they see you. When they ask you for things, and you tell them you don't have, it has become a problem. They say you have, you are lying. Because in their estimation of you, you should be better than what you are. Someone said to me, can you imagine my mom or my siblings are calling me? I should bring them angry. I said, don't be angry with them. Just tell God that way they see you, it should make you like that. Don't be angry. Don't block their number. Just say, the Lord, the way they see you, it should make you like that. Because there's a way they saw Esther, but they didn't know that there was a law. There was a law of restriction. There was a law that kept them. People do not understand. You are living your life. I was sharing with them also yesterday at the marathon that there are many people who don't understand that every family, every location, geographic or spiritual location, every ambience has certain powers behind the scene. Ezekiel chapter 11 from verse 1. Ezekiel 11 from verse 1. Ezekiel 11 from verse 1. Moreover, the Spirit lifted me up and brought me unto the east gate of the Lord's house, and which looketh eastward. Behold, at the door of the gate. Somebody said the door of the gate. We have 25 men, among whom I saw Jazaniah the son of Azor, and Pelatiah the son of Benaniah, princes of the people. Look at verse 2. Look at verse 2. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these are the men that devise mischief and give wicked counsel. The city was not aware that there were certain men at the gate that determine what happens. Bring other translations of verse 2. Let me show you something. Other translation. He says, the Spirit said to me, Son of man, these are the men who devise evil and give wicked advice in this city. Come on, come on, come on. Now look at this. Son of man, these are the men who draw blueprints, who think of new programs. A person is living his life. He wants to go to school. He wants to graduate from school. He wants to raise up his children. While he's doing that, he's not aware that there are certain men who are at the gates of the city drawing the blueprints. They say, this is how. Before you get to 50, this is what will happen. This is what will happen. So you are wondering that your life is not going in line with your plan. Your life is not going in line with your expectation. Your life is not going in line with your desire. Your life is not going in line because there's an evil manuscript. There's an evil content that has been scripted. A satanic direction that they said this is the line you must follow. A satanic script that they said this is how your life must be. A satanic script. They said this is the line you must toe. And some people are not aware that that script has been written and configured around them. Today, by the force of grace and by the power of access, we came. Every demonic blueprint, every satanic program, we deprogram it. I say we deprogram it. I say we deprogram it. If your amen is louder, take the blessing. There's a law. Be seated. What is access? Access. What is access? Access is permission. Access is right. Access is approach. Access is capacity to enter. Access is permission. Access is right. Access is to approach. Is capacity to enter. Access is authorization. Access is admission. When a man is given access, he's authorized. Giving access is giving admission. When a man is given access, he's given approval. Access is certification. Am I communicating here? Access is certification. Access is invasion. When a man is given access, he's permitted to invade. Access is infringement. Access is infringement. When a man is given access, the man is told you have right to infringe on matters. Access means to intrude. Access means to encroach. If with all of this explanation that you still don't understand what access is, we'll do the next service in your village dialect. Access. A person is granted access. When access is given, embargoes are lifted, restriction is lifted. When a man is given access, limitations and regulations are broken. Access means to relegate regulations. When regulations are relegated, access. Access. There are people, a line has been drawn. You can't go beyond this. Esther said, you don't understand. I stay in this house, but this is my limit. 30 days. This is a wife talking. This is a wife. This is not a servant. He said, everybody knows. And that was a law that was so powerful that for 30 days, no one can change it. That was the same law for 30 days in Daniel chapter 6 and verse 7 that was given that nobody should pray. Nobody should call upon any other God other than the king. Daniel chapter 6 and verse 7. Other than the king for 30 days. And he said, anyone that calls upon another God, Daniel 3:7, I think. 3:7. Bring up 3:7. Forgive me. 3:7. Daniel 3:7. Daniel 3 verse 7. And no other person shall call upon another God except this one. And it is a decree that has been signed by the Medes and the Persians, which cannot be changed. A law. Daniel, it should be 6:8 or 6:7. A law that cannot be changed. A decree of the Medes and the Persians that cannot be changed. 6:8. Thank you. No, let's start from 7. Let's start from 7. You brought it up before. 7. Okay. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, the princes, the counselors, captains, and have consulted together to establish a royal statute to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any other god or man for how many days? The same template given to Esther. It says, save of thee, O king, shall be cast to the den of lions. Now look at the potency of that law in verse 8. Look at the potency. Now, let's read it together. Now, O king, establish the decree, sign the rightly, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which uttereth not. This is a law that can't be violated. There are certain people, the law restricting them in the family. Anybody who tries to break it dies. Anybody who tries to be violent and aggressive or grandstand, bone face, drops dead. They say nobody should travel abroad. You say, no, me, I must break. Something just happened. If the person lands there, the next thing is in jail. Because it's a law that naturally, in your human capacity, cannot be uttered. I wish I'm communicating here. It's a power that denies people access. A power that stops people from advancing. A power like an embargo that stops them. I'm telling you, there are laws. When such laws are, when laws are given, blood connectivity, genetics are immaterial. I am telling you the truth. In 1 Samuel chapter 14, Saul, I think from verse 24, Saul gave a decree because the Philistine rose up against him. Saul said everybody should fast. No one should eat anything until he gains mastery over the Philistines. Nobody should eat anything. His son Jonathan was not there when the father said it. In verse 27, I think, when Jonathan came, he saw honey. Honey was dropping. And when he saw honey, he liked it. And he took the honey. He said, Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand and dipped it in an honeycomb and put his hand to his mouth. And his eyes were enlightened. In fact, when Jonathan violated the father's law, strength came. His eyes were open. In fact, he was getting angry. If you read the story, he was now angry. He said, why will our father, now we are fainting, and there's this kind of honey that gives strength. Why will our father give this kind of law or decree? When everybody now should be strong and enjoying life. The father got angry. The father tried. Guess what? Jonathan brought victory for his people. But the father wasn't satisfied. The father had to do divination because his spirits, he got intelligence that somebody ate something. Amongst you, somebody ate something. So in verse 44 and 45, there was a response. He asked Jonathan, are you the one? They casted lot and saw his father. Saul answered, he said, God do so more and more also, for thou shalt surely die. Why? You violated the law. Bring other translations and see the weight of his statement. Saul answered, may God do so to him. It's not me. And more also, if I do not keep my word, for you shall most certainly die, Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan most certainly will die. It's out of my hands. I can't go against God. It wasn't God that put that thing there. It was he that structured it. Can I? This was him talking. He said, Saul said, yes, Jonathan, Saul said, you must die. May God strike him and kill him if you do not. If you do not die for this. Are you following what I'm talking about? But the people reacted. Verse 45. They reacted. They reacted. And the people said, so shall Jonathan die? Who hath wrought this great salvation in Israel? God forbid. As the Lord liveth. Not, there shall not. The people rescued Jonathan that day. Because I'm trying to show you that when these laws are in operation, genetics and blood ties are immaterial. A mother would donate a father just to maintain a law. A mother would donate a child. A mother would donate a son just to maintain that law. A structure on ground. Senses are suspended. Emotions are restricted. That motherly affection for a child is restricted just so that a law can be promulgated. How about you follow what I'm talking about? 2 Kings chapter 6, two women sat down. They were doing a meeting. They were doing a meeting together. Both of them sat down. They said, madam, we get talk. Oh, we get talk. I said, okay. We get something to discuss. What was the discussion? He had the discussion. He said, madam, the way the country be so, no food, bandits, herdsmen, wahala everywhere. You get food? Say, I don't have. Is there food? He said, I don't have. The plan be say, we will eat your child today. Then we'll eat my own tomorrow. For people to get to that high power level of discussion, just know they have eaten other people before. So they have to discuss how to bring it home. And the woman said, okay. And she handed over a child. So it takes a level of wickedness to conceive the idea of eating your child. It takes a higher level of concentrated wickedness to think of that process of boiling a child. And they ate. But the next day, the other woman, Mia, M-I-A, Mia, missing in action, Mia. They didn't see her again. That was when I knew that even the witchcraft coven, they scam each other. A witch scam a witch, yahoo another witch. Scam the witch. But I'm saying emotions were restricted. Why? Because there was a law on ground. Stretch your hand to me. everyone under the sound of my voice, every law that has denied you access, law that has denied you advancement, law that says that you can never move to the next level in life. They've kept you on the spot for too long. They kept you on the spot for a long time. You have been around struggle. You have been around decadence. You have been around deprivation. Something has held you on one spot for a while. I come in the volume of the books as it is written of me to declare over your life that law is broken. That law is broken. You will enter your next level. You will advance. You will encroach. You will approach. You are certified. You are authorized. You are legalized. I say advance. Enter your next level. Nothing will stop you. Enter your next level. Nothing will hinder you. Enter your next level. Nothing will hold you. Enter your next level. Nothing will stop you. Enter your next level. Nothing will restrict you. Enter your next level. Nothing will restrict you. No more barricade. No more barricade. No more barricade. No more restriction. No more limitation. No more hindrances. No more restriction. No more hindrances. No more restriction. No more restriction. No more restriction. No more hindrances. No more barricade. No more barricade. No more resistance. You don't serve a dead cat. You serve a mighty God. He's the same yesterday. He's the same today. He's the same forever. When God says yes, no man can say no. When God lifts you up, no man can bring you down. God is on your side. Power is on your side. Grace is on your side. Somebody shout fire. Hey! Who put the law? Who put the law? I like what Galatians 5:23 says. Against such there is no law. Who put the law? Who put the law that nobody can travel abroad? Who put the law that nobody can become rich? Who put the law that nobody will live long? Who put the law that nobody will advance? Who put the law that nobody will accelerate? Who put the law that nobody can ascend? Who put the law that nobody can approach? Against you there is no law. Every law that has been at work against your life, every law that has been at work against your family, I take it out of the way. Somebody shout fire, fire, fire. Somebody shout fire, fire, fire. Be seated. Be seated. Be seated. Be seated. Be seated. Akoko Suprataya. He said, this is the cry of a wife. See, my husband and I are in the same house. But for the past 30 days, he has not called me. He has not sent for me. I can't reach him. There are some of you around people that can help you. But there is a law that puts forgetfulness in their mind. These people changing your life will be a snap of their fingers. It won't take them anything. And you are blaming your helper instead of blaming your altar. There are, take your seat. There are demonic technologies that have been put in place and configured and knotted so tight that you are wondering why, what is going on? What have I done that this is not happening? It's because there is a law. Look at the husband, a king, royalty, in the palace, but restricted. In the palace, but hands are tied. In the palace, but there are places you can't approach. In the palace, but there are places, you see, do you know how painful it is, sir? Listen, sir, if you know yourself, you are a failure. If even though nobody agrees, nobody will agree. Because there are people who know themselves that they can't do anything. Everybody assumes they can do something. Am I talking here? If you write an exam, you write an exam. You write an exam. And they give you the script and give you a pen to mark your paper. Will you mark fail? That's what I'm saying. Nobody admits. Even the one you got wrong, you will correct it first. Then you mark it good. But there are people, they didn't go to school, they didn't learn a trade, They don't have good character. They don't have nothing. So it's quite understandable when life leaves them behind. But there are people with so much ideas, so much potentials. Now, these ideas, they bring recommendations for people and it works for them. With the level of ideas they have, they do things for people. Just suggestion, people's life are changed. But for them, it's not working. This is not just an happenstance. It's not just something it's not something that is normal. There's an evil orchestration. There's a big satanic orchestration, an enemy behind the scene that needs to be handled. That needs to be handled. That needs to. It takes this kind of anger in your spirit, man, to say, no, something is resisting me. There are people, they just know that they can't go beyond. No, there's something holding them on one spot. They can't cross here. This amount of money for the past 10 years, their account never goes beyond that amount. Rather, it will go down if you build up, and come and stop there again. Why? Because there is a law. Then, in Ephesus, in the land of Ephesus, there was strong witchcraft. Everybody was struggling. One time, they were asking questions, what happened? That nobody goes beyond a level. And one man who was part of those who keep the book of records. You see, every family has a book of record. One who was among those keeping the book of record in Acts 19:35 began to tell them the dimension of element, the dimension of spirit that they were up against. Acts 19:35. He said, when the town clerk, you see the town clerk, that's the one, you know what a clerk is? He keeps record. He keeps files. He keeps documents. He's very up to date. You want this one, he brings it out for you. Every family has a town clerk. The town clerk of the family that keeps the record. When the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, let me explain to you. You are complaining that things are not advancing. You are complaining that you make so much money from gold. But other people end up being drunk. They make so much money from gold. They waste it. Let me tell you what happened. Ye men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not how this city of Ephesians is a worshipper of the great goddess Diana, and of the image will fell down from where? Jupiter. He said the spirit you are fighting is not from this world. We were sitting down one day, something fell down from a galaxy. A big image fell. It's not from this world. It wasn't created on this earth. It was from one of the galaxies called the Jupiter. So imagine somebody on earth fighting and contending with a force that came from another planet. You have not conquered the ones. The ones from this ecosystem. You have not conquered it. There is one now from another planet. It fell down from Jupiter. They say, wow. That is why if you see Paul, when Paul was writing, everything Paul wrote to the Thessalonian church, to the Ephesian church, to the Corinthian church, there were things that happened when he visited their city. When he went to Corinth, all he saw was what informed the letters he wrote. When he got to the city of Ephesus, what he saw, and if you see the way he wrote to the Ephesian church, it was warfare. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against. Because of the things he saw in Ephesus. We wrestle not against principalities and powers. Put on the whole armor of God. Be strong in the Lord. To the intent, the principality, Ephesians 3:11. To the intent, the principalities may know the manifold wisdom of God. Because of the things Paul encountered there. Am I communicating here? The land of Ephesus. But if you see chapter 5, the Bible says Esther went against the law. Laws, no matter how stringent, can I say this? No matter how unbreakable certain demonic laws are, they can be broken. No matter how seeming unbreakable demonic laws are, they can be broken. I don't know, nobody's following me. I said they can be broken. There are several things Esther did. I'll just give you two and then we'll pray. The first thing Esther did, you can see it from Esther chapter 2, from verse 5 to verse 7. Esther had a man called Mordecai. That man in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jahim, the son of Shimea, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with captivity, which had been carried away with Jeconiah, the king of Judah, and whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. He brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father or mother. The maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. How did Esther open up on the existing law around the palace? It was when Mordecai sent him, go and tell my daughter, she's queen. Tell her she's queen now, but there is a law. The first key to enjoying access, to enforcing access, is to be under authority. You must be under authority. A man, Jesus was going to the house of a man, and this man had a child that was sick, and it was such an incurable disease. It was an ailment that was about taking the life of the child, and Jesus was going, and the man said to Jesus, do you need to waste your time? Don't bother, speak the word only, and my servant will be healed. Speak the word only, and my servant will be made whole. Speak the word only, and my servant will be free. He said, why? Because I am a man under authority. Matthew chapter 8 verse 9. But there is something here. When I saw that, I was a bit worried. He said, I'm a man under authority, having soldiers under me. For I say to this man, go, and he goeth, another, come, and he cometh, and to myself, and do this, and he doeth it. Now that statement seems like a paradox. That seems like a paradox. I will explain. When a man says, I am a man under authority, the next phrase we expect to come after that statement is to describe how he obeys authority, not how he gives command. Oh, you're not following me. Maybe this is some deep stuff for you, don't understand. Somebody say, I'm a man, oh, I'm loyal to authority. I'm a man, I'm submitting to authority. I command that soldier, he obeys me. I command that servant, he obeys me. That does not sound, it doesn't align. In English, it's supposed to, they call it conjunction. That is not a conjunctive statement. Because if you say you are under authority, you are supposed to now tell us how you submit to the authority. So the right word, if you have to reverse this phrase, it's supposed to be, I have servants under me. I tell them go and they go. I tell them come and they come, because I am a man also under authority. But this man was trying to let you know something. He said, I'm a man under authority. I said to this go, he goes. To that come, and he comes. He's trying to let you know, I give command and people obey, because I myself, I am under command. I give instructions and people obey. So the man was trying to establish that you cannot be an authority unless you are under authority. Every leader is a led man. Until you are led, you can't be it takes a good follower to turn out to be a good leader. Every unled leader is leading people nowhere. I'm a man under authority. There are people today under the sound of my voice who are not under authority. The worst thing that can happen to you is for you to grow beyond rebuke. Your pastor rebuke you and you are frowning. They correct you and you are carrying your face. Are you not happy that people still see you worthy enough to be corrected? They rebuke you and they say, don't do, you did this, you stop coming to church. You did that. We don't understand who you are. We don't understand who you are. Service will close. You close from service, from a church, under this kind of anointing. After service, you now go and worship in another church the same Sunday. Ask your neighbor, what grace are you really under? Ask your neighbor, what grace are you really under? You see a person under a grace, a ministry that does a daily prayer. They don't follow it. They follow another ministry that does a daily prayer. Meanwhile, they have a ministry that does. What grace are you really under? You don't know, in the realms of the spirit, an attack comes. It doesn't know where you are connected to. Let me shock you. In the days of Elisha, there was a group also called the Sons of the Prophet. You know what the Sons of the Prophet means? Sons of the Prophet means that they had a father that they submitted to. Can I shock you? They were more in numbers. Elijah only had Elisha. but the other was more in numbers. And they were so accurate. It was them who told Elisha, your master is living today. Are you aware? They could pick the intelligence of heaven because they were under a prophet that was accurate. It was among those prophets God said to Elijah, there are 7,000 that have not bowed their knees. So Elijah was not the only prophet in his day. The sons of the prophet had a mentor, had a father that was precise. But Elisha chose to follow the one that had minimal numbers. He was loyal. All the sons of the prophet, there is no one that we heard got a double portion. Only the one that was following a prophet. What grace are you really under? You are everywhere, yet you are nowhere. Trying to do everything, end up in nothing. We don't know who you follow. That's one of the things I learned early. I learned loyalty. I've been a person who hates rebellion right from my infant days in walking with God. Growing up under the Archbishop in the house, if I hear a brother leaves and I hear all kinds of stories, sir, I won't talk to you again till Jesus comes. Because I understand the smell that rebellion carries. Rebellion carries an aura, a reductive aura. You start going small. You start going small. No matter you try to keep up with appearance, your virtue, your dignity, your honor is stripped off. It smells. What grace are you really under? What grace? Ron Kenoli has gone to heaven now. He died at 80. At 75, somebody invited him. He said, wait, let me take clearance from my pastor. The pastor was not taking calls for almost 3 days. He kept the man waiting. He said, I don't have any answer until my pastor picks a call. 75, global icon, global star. The song he sang, what's it called? Lift him up. Till today, he still collects royalties. He's still eating from it. But yet, he still had the person that says, until I get clearance, I'm not coming. Am I talking to somebody here? My good friend, Dr. Desmond Oyakilome, who is the head of CEF or so. Is it CEF? Christ Embassy Fellowship, yeah. He's in charge. There are branches all over the place. You know, son to Pastor Chris. We're very close. He was having a program, and Pastor Chris said, you are not going. Posters were out. Billboards were out. Everywhere. He just called me. He said, this thing will not work home. I'm not going to that program because I've not been cleared. I've not been released. Just, you are not going. That's all. He had another one. The pastor didn't say anything. Should I go, sir? He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He just called them. He said, from the body language of my father. So why won't he go and do crusades and you see 500,000 people, 200,000, 300,000, you see cripples, the same grace upon Pastor Chris, you see manifesting the life of, because somebody understands what authority is. Your problem is that even in this your small state, the kind of pride, the boil on your armpit, arrogance. When I see fathers, you see me prostrate flat, you think I'm worshiping man? I'm not. There's a transgenerational, when I see fathers and they are praying for me, my heart is open. I want to receive because I may not see them again. Fathers are on their way out. So anything I can draw, let me draw. That's why you see many churches. Some people play keyboard for 4 churches on a Sunday. They'll finish playing for one, they'll now go to one fellowship. Hustlers. Not knowing that hustling without grace is hostility. We don't have those kind of, these my instrumentalists are very saved. I'm not joking. Mr. Elijah is doing well. He's trying. He's trying. Our instrumentalists are the few instrumentalists that take notes during message. Some instrumentalists by this time now they're outside the church. Some gospel artists, after they finish singing their pressing phone, they don't write message. Nothing. 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 What grace are you really under? You have to ask some people, oh, when you see them send you posts of several ministries, you have to ask them, say, sorry, oh, what grace are you really under? It's not a sin, sir. This thing is not a sin. But there are certain things that must happen for scriptures to be fulfilled. Let me shock you. I hear people, some of you have heard this statement that Satan was a choir master in heaven. Lie. Big lie. There was no choir in heaven because every angel, every cherubim is a worshiper. All the angels, every cherub is a worshiper. Let me tell you, Satan was like the next in command to God. It was not just a cherub, it was the anointed cherub. Ezekiel 28 verse 13. It was the anointed cherub. It was the next in command to God. Heaven is a place, all the angels do is worship. If the angel wave his hand, is worship. If they wave their wings, is worship. They are created to worship. That's why God values the worship of man than the one, voluntarily or not. They are wired. When angels are worshiping God, God is not that moved because that is what they are created for. Why he values man's worship is because man has a right not to worship, but yet choose to worship. Man can choose not to worship. He has a will to worship. He has a will not to worship, but yet he chooses. But the one whose only will is to worship is not that appreciated because he has no choice. Man has a choice to say, I won't worship, but yet he worships. So God says, this one, I value their worship. I wish I'm communicating right now. Satan, how did Satan cast? Look at Revelation chapter 12 from verse 7. It's a serious service today. Revelation 12 from verse 7. Revelation 12. Want to go? Michael. Satan had angels. Satan started. In fact, when you want to know the root of evil, people are asking, how did evil enter this world? This is how evil entered the world. Evil entered the world because even angels, when it comes to legislation, they had the will. It's only worship, they had no will. It was the will in them that Satan gaslighted God. How? Satan went to Ashtaroth. Are you going to be a boy forever? He went to Baal. Are you going to be a boy forever? He's already God. What do you have to show for being a cherub? He went to Baal. All of those gods you saw in the Old Testament were fallen angels. Ashtaroth, Baal, Leviathan. According to the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is not just a book that talks of the future. It's a holistic book. It talks of the past, the present, the future. What's happened in the past? What is happening now? Wars and rumors of war. What will happen in the Great White Throne Judgment? It's a book that encapsulates everything, the totality of the scripture. The past, the present, and the future. So now we see Satan called the anointed cherub. He was higher than Michael. He was higher than Gabriel. That was why in Zechariah chapter 3 from verse 2, when Michael wanted to deal with Satan, he said, the Lord, he didn't say I. But when the prince of Persia, when he wanted to deal with the prince of Persia, he just went there and brought it down. Because he knew Satan was higher than him in hierarchy. He had to work on legislative authority. Because he knew Satan was higher than him, Lucifer, was high, because it was when he was cast down, he became Satan. He knew Lucifer was higher than him in hierarchy. So he had to rely on legislative authority to say, the Lord. Zechariah 3 verse 2. The Lord. Meaning I'm standing in the place of God. The Lord. Even the Lord that has chosen Jerusalem. Are you getting something today? Are you getting something at all? How did he cast them out? By giving them options. Guess what? When they came down, the Bible said there was no... Why were they now fighting? Why were they now fighting? They were now fighting because all of a sudden it dawned on them on the decision they have made. After making that decision, they still expected to enjoy that entitlement. Oh, you're not following what I'm talking about. After causing rebellion, they still wanted to occupy the same space. God said, no, you are going down. God didn't move. He just legislated the angels, take them down. And the Bible said there was no space for him. Why is the devil angry at you? That space Satan left in salvation is where man now took. When you got born again, you now step into where he left. That is why day and night he's fighting you. Why? You took his position when you got born again.